And it was like playing the guitar that got you into this world of rock and roll in the first place. I mean, what you said when you were 16 or 15 years old, what you wanted to do was play guitar. And that was what always came first to you, wasn't it?
Absolutely. When I joined, just to go back a little bit, when I joined the Herd as rhythm guitarist, there was a personnel change and I became instantly the lead guitarist. I was hired for my chops, as it were, even as young as 15. And then, of course, the managers came in, and it was sort of create a pop band at that time, like the time of the Monkees. And well, we were a much finer band than that, but the managers looked down the line and said, the commercial face, and that's where my problem has always lied, inasmuch that people can sell the face much quicker than they can sell the playing. So I've constantly had to fight. I'm older now and I don't look so good, so it's perfect. It's time to make people realize that first and foremost, I never say singer-songwriter, I say guitarist, singer-songwriter. And now I feel very confident that that's what is coming across.
Well, I know for a fact that other guitarists look to you, I mean, that you're an inspiration for other guitarists. And it also occurred to me in getting this interview together that during those, quote, Frampton Comes Alive years, unquote, that even the millions of your fans, lots of them, never really realized that what was really happening on Frampton Comes Alive and on the studio albums of those years was some extraordinary guitar playing. I mean, up there with the very, very best, rather than, you know, the face and the voice and the personality. I was wondering whether that bothered you then.
If you remember, when the live album came out, as far as pulling an audience and having a terrific amount of people in my following, especially around America, because we'd concentrated here, it would be a lot of guys as well as girls in the audience. And my guitar playing, I think, was a lot of the reason why people came. I know that. So when the live album came out, the general public that all of a sudden seemed to pick up on that didn't know what I looked like except for the album cover. And at the very beginning, there was a very it was very credible. I was credible as a musician, but then at that point, over publicity, doing too many daytime talk shows, too many front covers with my shirt off, those sort of things, put me into another category of, quote, celebrity, teeny star or whatever, rather than a musician. And it culminated, I think, round about 1981, when some of the audience were, you know, as you go out the backstage, a girl came over to me and said, "Wow, I never realized it was you playing guitar on all those records."
Let me take you back even further for just a minute, because recently MTV, for some reason or another, has dug up a really fabulous old black and white piece of film, I guess it is, of Humble Pie in performance. And there's Peter Frampton, looking like he's having an absolutely marvelous time playing guitar, because you didn't sing lead with Humble Pie. So were you all guys all having that much fun? Was it that wonderful just to be playing? Because it's a wonderful little piece of film.
Absolutely. I mean, that was the first single that Humble Pie released, and we had basically just got it together in the country cottage, as every band, Traffic, did and all that. It was the same period, '69, I believe, and it was just fantastic to get together with a band where I didn't have to. I did sing, you know, we shared vocals, but Steve Marriott was the main singer in the band, and as far as I was concerned, I was the lead guitarist. We played a lot of leads together, but it was, I'm not demeaning Humble Pie, but it was a great apprenticeship for me, putting all my jazz ideas from the guitar, combining them with the opposite, or just the extremes of rock and blues with jazz. And it was a very, very enjoyable period, and they seem to be playing that video a lot.
I know, which is nice, because it's really wonderful.
I just look like a beanpole.
It was about 10 years ago. You were, without question, the biggest rock and roll concert attraction. You sold more records than anyone in history. You were on the cover of just about every magazine. And at the height of it all, you had a serious automobile accident, just as everything was really peaking for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if you can remember, and maybe will share with us, what must have been going on in your mind, lying in a hospital bed, the world wondering, I think it was seriously enough, wondering whether you were going to make it,
Mm-hmm.
and what kind of an effect on your life did that auto accident have just about 10 years ago?
It was a good thing. I mean, it wasn't a good thing physically to me, but mentally I think it was the best thing that could have happened, in as much it gave me time. I didn't have any time. I had a lot of time to sit on my own or lie on my own and reflect. And I realized that a lot of things were going wrong. Basically, I was being used, as far as I was concerned, to make other people a lot of money. And it was the beginning for me of finding out exactly what was going on. It made me realize that I had totally lost control of my own career, which I was totally in control of until the live album came out. And I basically had time to just sit, think, and start working towards taking time off and changing everything, getting rid of everything that was bad around me. And at one time, I did think, because I had a very bad injury to my right arm, and I was very, very scared that I would never play again. So that also made me realize what do I do if I can't play guitar? It was very, very important to me, obviously. And just about every bone in my body had been broken. So the first time when I was able to pick up a guitar again, I didn't put it down for a few hours. And it was made me realize a lot of things that I took for granted. And when you do come that close to disappearing, it's thank God that it didn't happen, obviously, but it was a good thing in a lot of ways.
So in a real sense, when the day you walked out of that hospital was the first step on the road that's brought you to this moment in this album.
I would say so. I call that day was the end of the Comes Alive era. It was the beginning of the end of that whole thing, and then becoming in control, because there's nothing more, how can I put it, the rage you feel inside when you suddenly realize why your life is becoming out of control. Then it's time to use that energy that you now have to put everything right. I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm never going to make a mistake again, but I won't make those ones again, for sure.